Testing. Okay. There are times in our lives where it feels like we're the only ones who know what we're going. Whether it's through the loss of a loved one or a friend, financial struggles or familial problems, life can feel lonely sometimes. But over the course of my life so far, I've come to learn this one simple truth: that we were never meant to walk through life alone. As your brother would stand, you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, meaning that our closest friends and family have a huge impact on who we are. And as I reflect back on my own life, I realize that I didn't get to where I am today alone. And one of the very first places where I experienced that sense of community was within my own family. Ask anyone who knows me and they'll tell you that the core aspect of who I am comes from my family, and I love them very dearly. We have our inside jokes, we'll laugh with each other, laugh at each other, that leads to arguments sometimes, and then we'll disagree, but then we'll always make it up in the end. We're each other's best friends, and they've been a huge source of support and encouragement. Last year, though, we went through a bit of a rough patch when we lost my grandmother to cancer. It was hard on all of us, especially for my siblings and I, as we had never lost someone this close to us before. We leaned on each other and supported one another through the grief, and I learned to be open, honest, and vulnerable with my parents, more so than I already was. Because I trusted in the fact that I knew that I could go to them and that they could take my emotions, the things that I was dealing with, help me to process them, and guide me in the right direction. I remember that there would be multiple times where we would go, my entire extended family, my aunties, uncles, and cousins, we'd all go over to their house, and we'd have dinner every once in a while, and we'd play board games. I think it was Monopoly that we played a lot, and I got upset because I lost every single time that we would play. And everybody would be laughing, but then they'd be good jokes, and then we'd time at the end. Losing her, though, it made me realize that moments like that are precious and should never be taken for granted. And every time we do gather together, or every time I get to see them, I have a newfound sense of appreciation and gratitude for moments like those. And I also learned that, especially in the hard seasons, especially in the tough times, that having a family and having people who love you and will support you and walk with you through those things make all the difference. However, the one thing that my parents made sure to instill in both my siblings and I, that in every season of life, that you were to trust God throughout it all. Growing up in the church was another one of those places where I found that sense of community early on. I've got to meet so many different people, so many different families, all the different stages and areas and walks of life, all with the same passion and drive to pursue Jesus. I've met some of my closest friends at church camps and church functions and created bonds with people that will last a lifetime. And as I serve in my church, I get to be able to inspire and encourage the next generation, listen to different insights and perspectives from my peers, and continue to receive the wisdom and the decay that the church elders continue to pour into me. As a whole, my church family continues to inspire me to be better. One of my favorite church memories, though, has to be the summer of 2022. This is coming out of COVID, going into my freshman year. Earlier I had always heard about the older kids talking about different camps like Legacy, where they would go and they fly to the Big Island for supposedly the best week of their lives. They said it was better than Disneyland. But I didn't believe it because what beats Disneyland? Nothing, right? So I would hear them talk about all these camps and also being a part of this planning process for this new camp that we're about to launch, as well as hearing all the testimonies and stories from all the older kids. It built up a lot of excitement and anticipation within my heart. And when the day finally came, it was a week-long experience where my church, along with a multitude of others, we went out to the east side of Pu'uhonua Farms to be able to experience God's presence in a fresh, new, and exciting way. I got to meet so many kids from so many different schools and churches, but what really inspired me was seeing their hearts. I think a standout moment for me was the last day of camp. We're in our nighttime session, and we're praying, we're worshiping. I see kids raising their hands, praising God freely without any fear of what others might think of them. And kids were praying for one another, they were prophesying, speaking life into one another. And that was really, really encouraging to me, just to be able to know that I wasn't alone in my faith, and that there were other kids like me out there. And after camp, I came out of it with a sense of renewed purpose, fire, passion, and boldness. And I was going to need all of those things for about this new chapter that I was about to enter into. For the past 4 years, Kamehameha Schools has helped me not only academically and not only strengthen me as a student, but helped me grow my sense of cultural pride and also learn who I am as a Kanaka. At Kamehameha, we learn different Hawaiian values such as malama and aloha. meaning to take care, and aloha, meaning to love. Going into my freshman year, I knew that there was going to be a bunch of challenges. I was going to have to start at the bottom of the totem pole, I had to make a bunch of good friends. I came from Mahalo middle school, so I was going to have to go from public school, academic rigor to private school. I was going to have to maybe play sports if that was the thing for me. I was a really big Star Wars nerd back then, so if people were how I was scared if I was hey, may the force be with you and all that. I was people, I thought they would treat me like I'm a weirdo, right? So then I was scared of that. I was really scared of that, and so many other factors at that point in my life. It was kind of overwhelming. But after being in multiple clubs like band, choir, and I'm currently in the chapel team, I've come to learn what it means to be able to build a sense of community and how to foster that sense of belonging and how to serve them as well. Again, this is in the summer of my freshman year, or going into my freshman year, excuse me. I went to band workshops. I remember my first day, I talked to 3 people. I was so scared about what others would think of me and what they would say. But as I came to more workshops, eventually band camp, and when the school started, section, they welcomed me with open arms, and I felt very loved, welcomed, and respected, and they just made me feel at home, and I was very, very appreciative. As I progressed throughout high school, I started to think about how I could create a sense of community and belonging in my own life. And through the chapel team, Kamehameha Schools displayed an immense part in my faith, exposing me to a multitude of opportunities I wouldn't have otherwise been able to attend. From worship nights to morning prayer, Bible studies. I got to launch my own small group and so many other things. And just recently, this past weekend, from Saturday to Sunday, the Kapālama, Mahalo, and KLO campuses got together for our tri-campus chapel team retreat, where we all got to be able to learn and grow from one another. And those opportunities as a whole allowed me to take what I've been learning in church and also put it practically in how to apply that and how to serve others. As I look back on my life, I realized I didn't get to where I am today by myself. My family helped lay the foundation of my character, teaching me the faith, honesty, and love, even in the hardest of seasons. Our church helped me to foster my identity in Christ, allowing me to learn that I am changed by Jesus so that I can go out into the world and live like Jesus. Kamehameha Schools has helped me grow not only academically and in my sense of mission and purpose, but as a kalaka oiwi who wants to serve others. And if I could add one more, it'd be the friends that I made along the way. Whether in the church or not, I am so inspired and encouraged by the zeal that my generation carries, especially as you have heard and will hear from my friends today. Yes. Just as I have been blessed by the communities around me, so too do I hope to be a blessing to others, so that everyone I encounter in life will know that in every season that they face, that you never have to walk through life